Hello guys, it's Moon and Taurus here. We're going to look at this book called Be Your Own Moon Astrologer. Transform Your Life Using the Moon Signs and Cycles by Heather Roan Robbins. So I apologize if that's a little blurry. So we're going to read some of it. Actually, let me just give you a synopsis of what it's talking about. So it says you have a warm, steady, enduring, pragmatically creative nature. You may have a gift with the material world, your garden, your lovemaking, or your portfolio. Portfolio will be an art portfolio, right? That could also be like a stock portfolio. How can you be gifted with stocks? I mean, you're really giving it up to chance, really. So when they say gifted with your portfolio, I would assume they're talking about art. You hate to be rushed and are more comfortable working and learning at your own steady pace. But you like to see projects through. Once you've got it, you got it. You put down roots and like the lush and you like a lush and cozy environment. You also root in relationships. Once you know people are trustworthy and do what they say they're going to do, you can bond deeply to what? You can bond deeply to friend or partner. Now, it should say to a friend or a partner. It doesn't hurt if they are luscious too. You do love beauty. Me, I'm not big on beauty. That's just me. I care about the intellect of a person. I care about the soul of a person. That's just me. I'm different. But maybe we should read this whole thing. Challenges. Once your heels dig in and your chin juts out, the opposition can just forget it. Sometimes your strength becomes stubbornness. Won't power versus willpower. Your challenge is to be both stable and flexible. Although you can be generous, you can be haunted by possessiveness and don't like to share. You are neither fond of someone looking at your mate nor stealing a pickle off your plate. You can overindulge in cashmere, sex, or chocolate cake. I don't eat chocolate cake like that, so I don't know why every other person that talks about Taurus Moons talks about chocolate cake. Why is that like? And here's another thing. Why is it always about food? I don't understand that. Your collections and memorabilia can become clutter unless you learn to edit your physical surroundings. Primary emotional need. You may have come into this life asking for stability but forgot to ask for visibility. Prisons can be stable, so be specific. Work to create a sustainable ecology out of your life so you give back what you put into it and live a life with bread and roses. Like a tree reaching into fertile soil, you need to grow roots and a good career, relationship, and place that feed you. Be willing to leave what is only okay to search for something that will really help you bear fruit. And it says dealing with those born under a Taurus moon. To help Taurus moon people feel at home, make them comfortable. Let me tell you something about comfortable. Life is not 100% comfortable. It's not. There's the good, the bad, and the ugly. And when I say ugly, I'm talking about crime. I'm talking about strife. I'm talking about pain, misery, hurt, people backstabbing you. That's all the unattractive shit that goes on. Not people's looks, you know. Offer them some yummy food. That sounds so childish. Offer them some yummy food. Like you couldn't use the word delectable or succulent, and do not surprise them. I'm used to surprises. Me personally, I'm used to surprises. I'm gonna tell you why I'm different compared to like what's written on this paper, and I can relate to some of it. I can relate to the pragmatic part. I can relate to the creative nature. I can relate to being warm. I can relate to being steady. That was the first sentence in this book. You have a warm, steady, enduring, pragmatic, creative nature. I can relate to that. That's Taurus Moon. Here's what I don't relate to. This whole offer them some yummy food. You know, food is ephemeral. It's very ephemeral. I gotta add that. I gotta make that a poem too. Not about the food part, but about ephemerality. Food is very ephemeral, and do not surprise them. That's why I don't eat as much. I have to remind myself food is ephemeral, so don't overindulge. I don't even need to remind myself that because I don't have an overindulgent problem when it comes to food. I don't have an indulging problem. I don't indulge in anything at all. I really don't. And it says, do not surprise them. I've seen surprises before and I've never flipped out because of them. Never. I don't, as a matter of fact, I don't recall flipping out. Like, how about the time I was taken out of my house? Not out of my house, but I was taken from my mom's apartment, taken out of that house. I just look back at it. I was 4 years old. I didn't flip out. My emotions were steady. That's the kind of Taurus moon that I was. I can tell you why that it's like that. So my sun is in Scorpio, right? And it's in the 25th degree. I'm 25 degrees Scorpio sun. I'm 27 degrees moon in Taurus. That's a total opposition. If you have 3 degrees in Scorpio sun, but you have 27 degrees in Taurus moon, that's not an opposition because the degrees are so far apart. It doesn't form an opposition. It has to be sitting right on top of each other for it to be an opposition. So you can have those opposing signs, but it not be a real opposition. So you're not going to be affected. I got affected. So because I got affected, it modified the moon. The moon doesn't modify the sun modifies the moon. That's how that works. Because the sun is what you become. And I was becoming the sun a lot early in life. I became the sun much earlier in life. Um, and my moon squares the Mars sign. And Mars and Leo is at like 22 degrees, I think. So that's a square. Because they're in the 20s and they're close to each other, that formed a square. They're sitting right on top of each other. So that also forms a T square because the sun squares that as well. So that creates a lot of challenge in the chart. And there's this woman named Soul Navigation. Her YouTube channel is called Soul Navigation something. That's the name of her website. I went on there and I asked for a deep natal chart report. I want and she knows about the challenges, and I was like, so since she knows about that, I wonder what she could tell me about my chart. Like, what type of interpretation does she have that's different from the interpretations that I've seen already? Would they be the same? Would there be? She said it's going to be deep, and it could be up to 65 pages. So if it's up to 65 pages, what do you have to tell me? So I got to find out about that. All right. Anyway, let's finish reading this. They are not fond of change. So we're talking about Taurus moons again. They're not fond of change that they did not initiate. I am fond of change that I do initiate. I will tell you that much. So in other words, we do change as long as we initiate the change, right? That tells me that Taurus moon, they don't fear change. They don't hate change. They just don't want somebody else doing the change. They don't want some other situation doing the change. That tells me that they want to be in control. That's relatable. But that doesn't mean that I hate the change that happens. That I did not initiate. I'll take it. I'll just twist it. I'll twist it to fit what I want it to fit. I'll change it even further. Then to make it look like it was my idea. So they'll say, but you didn't need to do that much. No, we're going to take it an extra mile. Once you start something, I'm going to finish it. Okay, that's my attitude. So I'm okay with change, even if I don't initiate it. Just know I will twist it. So don't alter plans at the last minute. It would be better. See, yeah, so they're not fond of change that they did not initiate. So don't alter plans at the last minute. It would be better to promise less and pleasantly surprise them with more than not to come through on an agreement. Don't try to rush them or hold on a second. Don't try to rush them or push them into anything. Instead, invite and seduce and share your vision. Help them to see both the practical outcomes and the steps needed to get there. Appreciate them just as they are, because although they may grow and evolve, they rarely change dramatically. So we do evolve, we do grow. There's evolution for this art. And I'm going to write some poetry about evolution too. I think I already did at work. I'm going to write a whole book that's dedicated to us Taurus Moons, that's antithetical to what you've been reading. It's different, right? At work, Taurus Moons thrive in a secure work environment and in jobs that have clear and steady expectations, putting their creative determination, sociable collaboration, and ability to follow through to good use. They can work steadily until the job is done. Just don't spring sudden deadlines on them. Collaboration and bonuses inspire them. Stress does not. Taurus Moon bosses will want to know they are getting their money's worth out of their workers. They may be risk averse, but can nurture talent. In romance, feed the senses of Taurus Moons. Give them beautiful things and enjoy experiencing the world with them. Whether walking through the woods, bring a delicious picnic, or sharing a night on the town. Express affection through touch and sensuality. Respect their need for your loyalty and honor their loyalty to you. Set healthy financial boundaries, because they can spend money, yours included, but can also. I don't spend other people's money. They can spend money, yours included, but can also stick within a friendly budget once it's well defined. So I knew a Taurus Moon woman that had a Scorpio Sun, and her degrees were far apart. So she had like Scorpio Sun maybe in like the second or third degree, maybe fourth degrees, but had like a somewhere in the teens or the 20s. I would say in the 20s was her. It could have been in the teens. Was her Taurus Moon. So the degrees are kind of far apart. She could have had an opposition, but probably didn't. But she wanted me to spend my money for her. So she likes to spend other people's money. That's one Taurus Moon that I know of that likes to do that. I personally don't like to spend other people's money because it's not mine. So anyway, let's get back to the book. In the family, Taurus Moon children need security and art supplies. Help them to feel safe as they explore possibilities and listen to their fruitful creative nature. They need touch and snuggling, possibly a security blanket. I never needed a security blanket, dude. Get the hell out of here. The routine of a story and a hug good night. Parents born under a Taurus Moon hate surprises being sprung upon them. They prefer family rituals and may be unusually strict about curfews. Help them to develop new family habits that work as the family grows. Seniors need to feel plans are well in place for their safety and comfort. I won't become a senior, so I don't have to worry about that. Gifts of a Taurus Moon: steadiness. You can be the rock of a Gibraltar, a pillar of strength and stability for others. Abundance, like a fruit tree. Once you feel stable and rooted, you can produce abundance and comfort for yourself and others. Your kitchen is usually well stocked, although you may appreciate a hearty, well cooked meal more than fine delicacies. Cuddliness. How is that a gift? Cuddliness. You can be a great hugger, a good lover, and often have a beautiful voice. Good taste. You create beauty in your surroundings and have a natural eye for worthy collectibles. That's not a gift either. Good business sense. You have a good sense of financial worth and natural instincts to grow resources. And that's it for the Taurus Moon. Does this book sound like it went in depth on the Taurus Moon? Let me tell you something. This book does not go in depth on any of the moon signs. That includes Scorpio moon. That includes Sagittarius moon. That includes all the moons. It doesn't go in on complete depth on any of the moons. It really doesn't. It really doesn't. Let me see how much time went by in this video. 15 plus minutes. So that's all there needs to be said about that. I explained what I related to, what I don't relate to, and this video is going to go up soon. So you guys have a good night or morning because it's long after midnight. So see ya.